Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done like a big episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for following along with us on our trips that we've taken. We were in Mexico this last Friday, which is why we didn't record for this anyway. But last time we did, we were talking about kind of alluded to this idea of sharing some things from like a teacher perspective. So a little bit of backstory. If you follow me on like my personal Facebook page, one of the things that I do that I frequently do is try to celebrate awesome things that kids are doing. So I think teaching gets a bad rap a lot of the time, and people are like, oh, it's the worst job. It's actually like a really good job. I love being a teacher, and kids do amazing things. However, a couple of years ago, or not even like a year ago, maybe last year, beginning of the school year, I made a Facebook post, like a vulnerable moment. I was leaving work and I was absolutely wrecked, like in tears, really, really sad, like devastated sad. And I won't get into the details about what happened, but it was one of those days where I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And I know I'm not alone. A lot of teachers, you could back me up on this. A lot of teachers have been having days like that more and more frequently. I think since COVID, especially, a lot of teachers are leaving.
And you feel very defeated some days.
There are days that you just feel defeated. Defeated is a great word for it. I do think that the good days still outnumber the bad, but that specific day, I shared on Facebook that I didn't share the details. I just shared, hey, today was really tough, left and just broke down crying in my car. And I had several friends reach out and say, hey, so sorry. But I also had friends that were like, we have young kids. Tell us what we can be doing as parents to raise them in a way that they don't make teachers like you feel like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we want to talk about today is, we've talked about parenting a little bit and, things that we've done. But I think from the perspective of a teacher as well as a parent, maybe can offer a little bit more insight.
Yeah. And we teach, if you don't know, we're teachers, both of us.
Teachers, yeah.
I teach upper elementary. Rebecca teaches middle school. Yeah. And I think, I've been doing it almost 20 years now. So I would say every year you have a mixed batch of great parents and really great kids. And then you have the other half, which is more challenging.
And for different reasons. There's kids that, I resonate so much with the trauma kids because that was me growing up, right? I understand that to a point and usually connect well with those kiddos. But there's a gamut.
Yeah, and for me, it's the kids who are more of a class clown or finish their work really quick just to bother other kids, and that's me.
That was Tyler.
So, and I think that you look at that as teachers,
mm-hmm.
it all boils down to one thing, and it's something that it's taught in teacher school in
mm-hmm.
college, but it's relationships.
Yeah.
And that goes further. I think that would go across any profession. When you're working with the relationships you have with your coworkers, your supervisors, or your clientele, or for us, it's students.
When you get into teaching, yes, you want to share and help kids learn, and you're passionate about that. I started out as a writer and avid reader, and so it makes sense that I teach language arts, right? I was really passionate about that. I want to share that. But there's also this piece where teachers are just driven by connection and helping students just realize their potential in so many ways. We live for that. right? For like the kids that like, hey, this was difficult before and now it's easier, or the kids that you like really connect with and you can like relate to, families that you can relate to. There's still kids that I've taught or families that I've been connected to that I'm still like connected years later, right?
Yeah.
Like that you just built those strong bonds with, and that's, as a teacher, that's the ideal.
Yeah, kids you reach out now that they're graduated, and or you know, just the kindest little note about how much you meant in their life. I mean, these are little things that mean a lot for
and
an educator.
As teachers, we work extremely hard to build those relationships, to build those connections with kids, with families. That's like first priority every year, right? Like we get to know our kids and their families, and it's day one. It's just like, let's know each other because I want you to know that I care about you, right? And then we'll get to the learning. But first, know how much I care about you. And so as teachers, we have like our little things that we do. But I guess here we're sharing some things. It would be easy to just like harp on the negative, right?
Mm-hmm. What we don't like about the job.
What we don't like about the job. But I think that if we focus in on like, what are those kids doing that are like, there are some amazing kids out there doing amazing things. I would love to have, I know I'm not alone. I would love it if my whole room was just like super community and we all work really well together and things are going great. And so what is it that those kids are doing that we could like that parent said, what can we share with you guys that would be like, hey, these are things that kids do that make our job and our lives exponentially better.
Yeah.
More of a happy place. And like, not just for us, but for other students and other adults in the room, right?
Yeah.
And so I know what comes to mind for me is like little things.
There's so many.
It's the little things for me.
Yeah. For me, number one is trust. Mm-hmm. Like, I have multiple degrees in education. I've been doing this 20 years, and it's just trust me that I know what I'm doing. Like, right? I don't need to be. I'm not perfect, and I know. I realize, and I instill that into my classroom. Is like, hey, I make mistakes, but I'll be the first to call myself out. Or if you see something that I'm the first to admit it. Like, I'm not perfect, even with a 11-year-old. You know, so I think that's good to model that. You know, you can grow in any aspect, whether it's
and make mistakes
and you're a person and you have your emotional ups and downs, but it's okay to apologize, and grow from that. So, but yeah, I think number one is just
trust the teacher.
Trust the teacher that we know what we're doing. I'm a parent, I am a teacher, and I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. That let us work our magic. And if you have questions, ask. But
along with that is respect. Like, and it's not. I remember when our kids were little, telling them, you don't have to like your teacher. You're not going to like every teacher that you have, but I had better not ever hear that you're disrespectful to your teacher. I remember telling the kids that, like, you don't have to like them, but you do need to show up and be respectful. And what that looks like is, listen when the teacher, like, it's the little things. It's listen when the teacher's talking, nod. My favorite.
Active listening.
I love finding that one anchor kid. There's always one, at least in the room, that like you're talking and some of the other kids are like doing their thing or whatever. And then you look over and that one kid that's like, I got you. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank goodness somebody's listening. So it's the respect thing, though. Like, it's listening, it's asking questions, it's doing
an active
the work.
Participant.
Like, I'm okay if you got done early, great. But like, just get started, get the work done. Let's work together and be respectful to other students. Like, I think that respect alone would make if every kid showed up and was respecting the teacher and the other students in the room.
And the facility.
And the facilities don't draw on the desks, right? Like, little things like that.
Lunchroom helpers, I think respect.
It goes so far.
Choose kind.
Be kind, be respectful. And that goes for like, don't say mean things about other students.
Yeah.
But it for me, it's a big thing, but it's little things, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that, one of my favorite, I actually 2 years ago had these two boys in my room, and they came in, I had them for third period, and every single day they would get up and they would say, as they were leaving, one of them would say, "Hey, Miss Messenger, have a good day." And the other one would go, "No, have a great day." Or even like a few years before that, I had these two kiddos that would, like, after every single day, every single lesson, they would get up and say, "Hey, thank you."
Yeah. I had a student this year that at the end of every day, when I would, walk them to the front of the building, he would always say, "Thank you, Mr. Messenger," and "thank you."
That goes so
to
far.
The student teacher, and
it goes so far.
Yeah, it feels good that
you feel seen.
Yeah.
It's like, it's little thank you notes.
For me, like elementary, like drawings, the kids like will paint me or draw me little pictures, and I make sure to display that stuff. Like
I do too, yeah.
And I have a file in my desk drawer that has like parent and student notes that when I'm having a bad day, I go in there and fill my own bucket.
There's times that like if you are a parent and your kid has been positively impacted by a teacher, send them an email, write them a thank you note. I literally, those are like anchors for me on bad days.
And I get, as a parent, you want those too. Like as a teacher, we do our best to send positive notes. It's not always like, you don't need to contact home.
Actually,
negatives, but
my rule of thumb is that if I'm ever going to contact home because of a bad behavior, I have to also contact home for somebody for a good behavior in that same sitting. So it's always like, it's good for my own mental health. So it's like, if I'm going to say so-and-so did this and I need to let you know, because that's, as a teacher, and that's like, as a parent, I get that stinks to hear. When you have that negative, like, you don't want to think of your kid being disrespectful, or you don't want to think of your kid being off task. But know that that goes back to the trust. If a teacher's reaching out, it's not because we want to like accuse you or your kid or anything like that. It is because we are concerned about your kid.
And we need help.
We need help. We're asking you for help. And so, as much as it stinks to hear that your kid is doing something negative, know that like it's coming from a place of like, I'm really trying here. If I didn't reach out, I wouldn't be trying, right? Like,
sure, yeah.
I want the peace. I want the connection. I want your kid to be successful, and it can't happen if this is happening, right? And so like sometimes we have to reach out for my own mental health. It's kind of like you remember we were sharing like going to bed and sharing appreciations with each other. It's that same thing, right? Like it's my own mental, like I could either get stuck in here's something that happened that you need to know about. Ick.
Yeah, you can be in that negative, gripey mindset,
or I sit afterwards, I type that email, I send it off, and then I sit afterwards and go, okay, who did something awesome today? I'm going to send an email home or call home and let their parents know that they did something awesome. And that, for my own brain, is just good.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's you get what you put in, kind of in your mental focus.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with all those things help with burnout.
Mm-hmm.
is keeping it positive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As often as we can. And so like Tyler just said, like we try to reach out and say positive things too, but it's hearing from kids or parents that you've made a difference is massive. Absolutely massive. So at what age do you think that like a lot of this, like when do parents need to start talking to their kids about how to behave in school, do you think?
I think it's it's like pre-K. Like I think having that conversation of behavior is something that as a parent you're hopefully instilling through the process of their growth. I would say even if your child is in preschool or kindergarten and you're asking your kids, when you pick them up, like, what did you enjoy about today? And usually at those ages, they're pretty excited to tell you about how much they love school, which is great. send a note to a teacher. Like she said, like it could be a quick email. Like, my daughter, my son, they really enjoyed your lesson about dinosaurs, and they won't stop talking about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And, something simple. It doesn't have to take a lot of thought process. It's just something quick, little note, little things like that.
Yeah. I think as they get older, the biggest thing, so like, yes, I think for, teaching your kids what basic respect looks like in school, how to approach problems in school, things like that. But then also, I know like my sister gave a TED talk a few years ago on social capital, and I know that like it's hard to think of at a young age, but I tell my kids, so I teach 8th graders, they really need to start thinking about who you're connected to. I tell them all the time, you're going to be 14, 15, applying for your first job. You don't know who I know. You don't know who your teachers know. And so you might apply for that job, and then they'll be like, hey, I just got an application from so-and-so. You probably taught him a couple years ago. What do you think? Right? And so teaching them also, like, we have this culture right now where you see a lot of like, it's a burned bridge and it's okay. And we're actually, like, I have had conversations, like real conversations with kids around that as well, that are like, this is just how I am. And if you don't like it, right? And there's zero growth and zero accountability in that kind of thing. And so, teaching it again, it's, you don't have to like somebody to be respectful, to show up, to do your part and control you. You can't control the other people, but you can control what you do. How do you want to leave that impression? Do you want a teacher that can give you a good reference? I get because all my kids are going to high school, I get lots of recommendation letter, like requests from like cheerleading or sports or other academic programs, or like all these things where they reach out and they're like, hey, would this student be a good fit? And there's sometimes that you're like, absolutely, and there's sometimes that you're like, well,
yeah, at that.
But unfortunately, well, so the unfortunate part is that sometimes though too, you're like, I honestly don't know.
Yeah, it depends how much time is
And so like teaching your kids not just that respect piece, but like the connection piece. We want to know your kids. We want to know what they're into. I know I try to like I'm not alone. Teachers try to frame lessons around what your kids like. Because that's going to get them interested and engaged. And so it's even showing up in like, talk to your teachers. We're human.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're into. Well,
yeah. And elementary school is very different, probably than middle school. I know a lot of my week.
You're with your kids all day.
Yeah, so I have my kids from morning till
whereas I get them for an hour a day.
But there is a lot of
50 minutes. So
whether it's curriculum or just how I plan my day of interaction with kids, as far as like getting to know them, that's like the first week of school without academics. Mm-hmm. And the academics rolling slowly, but that's something that we touch on weekly, mm-hmm. of getting to know each other, student of the week, star student, whatever it is, where they get to talk or present, kind of like a more upper elementary, like show and tell kind of thing, but it's about themselves. And I think I've been blessed by having half my career in like schools that are like magnets for kids with special needs. And so mm-hmm. it really, kids get to see and experience that empathy piece, and like mm-hmm. seeing people that are different, mm-hmm. and whether it's autism or visually impaired or whatever it is, and then they have to figure out like, hey, we're all in this together, and they're going to have different needs, and I have different needs, and how do I communicate, and how do I respect somebody else? And I think it's been really amazing to see how the kids step up and mm-hmm. and learn how to be a good person.
At the level I'm at, you can tell which kids have had that kind of those experiences for sure.
And that's kind of what it boils down to, is those experiences, experiences with differences, and mm-hmm. having that. I think their brain gets programmed on how to like think and respond in a healthy and respectful way.
Yeah. When somebody is, and it's not even, sometimes it's like a...
But it's not only with people that are different or different values or different viewpoints. It's also, you see that too when they get bogged down with the difficulty in class. Like a problem.
A growth mindset versus like, I see it all the time where kids are like, well, I just don't know how to do it, so I'm not gonna.
And so as a parent, let your kids struggle. I think that kind of
absolutely, and teaching that there's good things. Like I tell my kids all the time, if you're struggling, that's good.
Yeah, you're growing.
You're growing. Your brain is working hard.
Yeah, we call that in education helicopter parents and snowplow parents
that just solve all the problems.
And kids need to struggle.
They need to work it out, figure it out. But and again, that's hard. Our oldest did not always have the easiest time in education, and it's hard to watch your kid struggle. It really is. So yeah, our oldest has dyslexia and ADHD, and around third grade really, really started to struggle. And I remember I feel for you if your kiddo has those any kind of learning needs that makes it more challenging for them. Man, it stinks because you want your kid to have a good, easy time.
To be successful, but also enjoy a place they have to go. Like,
and
nice
Dylan started like hating school, and it was always this fight and this argument to do homework, and man, it's a bummer. But one of the things that we learned when he was little, we started into occupational therapy, and one of the things that the occupational therapist had us do was actually record a few times of like sitting down with him and doing his homework together. And then she broke down body language, and she broke down like different things, and she was like, you need to be she was like, it has become a fight and a point of tension. Instead, you think you're going to distract him if you're like, hey, or like give him like a shoulder rub, or like, good job, buddy, like you're working on, and become more encouraging of the struggle, not just like, oh my goodness, you got it done, but like, look how hard you're working. That's amazing. And encouraging that. And that was one of the things as a parent that I learned a lot about was she was like, you set him down to his homework and just walk away and then just get mad at him when he doesn't do it. And you're like, well, yeah, because he needs quiet. And she's like, no, that's actually opposite. Like, go and encourage. So I started doing that, and we started seeing a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a lot to take away. We don't want to take up all of your day, but like, be respectful, like
let them
struggle, trust the teacher.
Kindness goes a long way.
Kindness,
whether it's a note,
empathy. Yeah. Gratitude is huge. Points of connection. Just a few things, as you start the school year to think about. If you have questions, as always, let us know. We're open books, so to speak. So reach out if you have questions. And
thank you, guys.
We'll be back. Thanks.